Good.
Hello everyone, hope you can hear me. This is Amit Kumar and we are starting the webinar now. So welcome everyone to this webinar where we will be talking about how to kind of automate with and achieve the speed and scale which you need with pCloudy solutions. So today I have Nilesh who's going to be presenting this our thoughts on this, and towards the end of the webinar we'll keep it open for about 10 minutes for question and answers. So the format of this webinar is that we'll keep everyone muted for the initial duration of the webinar when Nilesh is going to be articulating our thoughts here, and then the question and answer at the end. So yeah, I welcome the participant from US, India, and other parts of the world to this webinar. And we're excited to have this session today and get the get the thoughts out to you so that we can have detailed conversations with you. So I'm based in North America, but our teams are based in across the world in India as well as in Australia. So we cover the whole world through this set of people. So we'll be able to come and have more detailed conversations with you on what you are trying to achieve and what you're trying to kind of take your automation to the next level and how pCloudy could help. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Nilesh to start the webinar. Nilesh?
Thanks, Amit, for setting the right context here. So I welcome all the participants once again. Very good afternoon, morning, and evening. All right, so without spending much time here now, let's move on to the next slides where we will see the quick introduction about pCloudy. I mean, I believe there are some participants who are pretty new to this platform, and there are a lot of participants who are already using pCloudy. So maybe for the benefit of all those who are seeing first time, I believe I'll just quickly give a quick brief about pCloudy, what exactly pCloudy uh, does, or what offerings we have at pCloudy. So pCloudy is basically a device cloud. So it's a device, a remote device, mobile test platform wherein you can do a whole lot of things. And we're going to quickly see what exactly you can do it with pCloudy, how many different types of applications you can test on this particular platform, right? And what kind of testing you can do it. So typically we have support for native applications, hybrid applications, mobile web applications, and PWA applications. So you can test any of these applications or the combination of these applications on this platform. What different kind of testing you can perform on this platform is typically the manual testing, uh, device analytics, test automation, and in-field UX testing. So when I'm talking about manual testing, it's more about the way you do the testing with the device in hand. In the exact fashion, you can do the testing on pCloudy by remotely accessing the device. The next point is device analytics, which talks about giving you the right set of finite number of devices for a given geography where you want to release your application. So it will provide you the right set of devices so you can concentrate and channelize your testing energy and focus to the right set of devices to target maximum penetration in the specific market. Next thing which is very important is about test automation. Now, test automation is something which is increasing in the industry day by day. So we have support for creating the test automation cases. We also have support to run the test automations on multiple devices parallelly. Of course, today's demonstration is all about test automation and parallelism and how you can achieve the speed and quality at the higher scales, right? So of course we do have support for the test automation, and then towards the end we also have support for in-field UX testing. When I say in-field UX testing, this is typically the crowd testing. We recommend that most of the applications before even released in the market, it should be tested by the crowdsource engineers or the real users, users across the globe, so that you get the real feedback even before it is released in the market. So that kind of testing can also be possible here. So pCloudy, in a nutshell, is a one-stop shop where you can do everything which is typically needed in the testing life cycle. So there are two ways to access this particular platform. One is, of course, through a standard web browser, which most of the test engineers and the quality persons are using. The second way is through plugins through Android Studio, Xcode, which is typically used by the developers or the white box test engineers, or even the CI/CD engineers, who are using this through their pipelines. So there are three primary offerings which we have. The first and foremost is about public cloud, where we have access to 5,000 plus real device and browser combinations access. So basically, we have real physical devices and different browsers on top of that. So you can have 5,000 plus combinations available there. We also have devices with the real SIM on those devices. And there are three different locations where our data centers are located. We have data centers in India, US, and Australia. The next offering which we have is called on-premise cloud. So basically, this will be a dedicated cloud for any specific client, which will be set up within their premises by bringing our own cloud infrastructure, the hardware which is typically needed to create a mobile lab, which can be accessed remotely. So we will come there with our own cloud infrastructure, and you can connect devices which you have there and create your own beautiful labs there. That's what we are calling it as on-premise cloud, where you have access to your own devices 24/7, and all your co-located testing teams can be using this particular lab from across the globe. And the last offering which we have is called private cloud. It's again a dedicated cloud for a specific client, but the only difference here is we will be maintaining the cloud instance in our own state-of-the-art data centers, and we will be connecting the devices required by a specific client. So basically, you will have a dedicated cloud with access to the devices 24/7, and none of the other customers can even look into that particular clouds or the devices. All right, so let's quickly see the agenda for today's call or the webinar here. We're going to see three simple things here. First, we are going to see what are the the enterprise mobility, which is looking for the speed and scale. What does it mean, and how we are addressing that? The typical challenges faced by the enterprise mobility when we are talking about scale, quality, and the speed, and a couple of solutions which we have at pCloudy, which will address all these things. So these are the three simple things which we are going to see it now. Yeah, I mean, if any one of you have any questions during this webinar, since it's not a interactive session, I will suggest that you can use the question and answer windows in the GoToWebinar window which you are seeing there. You write your questions there, and towards the end, when we have Q&A session, we will answer those questions. All right, so let's move on here, right? So speed and scale, these are the two most talked about words these days, right? And isn't the enterprise mobility playing a game when we talk about speed and scale, and when we see this slide, don't you think that the enterprise mobility is playing the game of need for speed today? Yes, it is. It's because of this super dynamic nature of the industry, and this would need APM at speed and scale more than ever before, right? The way the market dynamics are changing, the way the requirements are changing from the user, we have to keep changing a lot of things here and there, and because of that, we do need a speed at our end, right? And we have to also have a APM at speed and scale, right? So we are going to see about this thing. So these are the couple of challenges, though the APM is being used widely, it also poses some serious challenges for the enterprises today. And we are, of course, we are going to highlight pCloudy way of solving these challenges in the upcoming slides. So these are the three different challenges as you are seeing on the screen here, right? Let's see each one by one in the upcoming slides, right? So here we are talking about achieving infinite scale, identifying the issues quickly, simplifying the process of scripting, or making the scriptless brittle, right? So these are a couple of key challenges which we are seeing in the industry. So we will actually go through each and every challenge quickly here and see if there are ways to handle this through pCloudy, right? Okay, so the first challenge here is all about the growing demand for quality at speed. See, quality is something which is typically starving by all the enterprises. They want quality for their product, but at the same time, we are trying to achieve the quality at the speed because of the market dynamics, right? So when we are talking about quality at speed, scalability becomes one of the major challenge to be covered here, right? Now, do you think that parallel testing will address this particular challenge? Right? This is what we are going to see. So yes, of course, parallel testing will actually address this particular challenge if you are having a setup where or the infrastructure which will help you that, right? So in this slide, if you see, we are talking about taking a leap with the infrastructure at scale, right? So when we are talking about scalability, parallel testing on 5, 10, or 20 devices at max are like taking baby steps for enterprises on how you know how to scale it. Now, when we are uh, talking at the enterprise level, we'll have to see how can we take the leap from here. See, these baby steps of running it on 5 or 10 or 20 devices is okay. Maybe even today, a lot of enterprises are doing it, but these are some small baby steps. When we want to actually take a big leap where we have to run it on uh, more number of devices, that's when the parallelism or parallel testing will actually give you the right benefit and right uh, outcome. So let's move on to the next slide and see here. Now, we are seeing a video here. Now, the leap can't happen without the support of the right infrastructure. Now, pCloudy allows you to achieve that scale and run concurrent tests on 50, 100, or even thousands of devices together. You can see it here. We are showing you a small demonstration. So we have run it on multiple devices. We have around 50 plus devices here on this rack, and you can see everything is running parallel on those. So this is something which is what we are referring to when we are talking about the right infrastructure. So you can use our public cloud or set up a plug and play device infrastructure in your premises. Basically, if you have seen this particular thing, here we are actually showing you the right set of infrastructure. When I'm talking about the infrastructure, it's not only about the devices. Of course, we have 5,000 plus combinations of devices we have with the browser. But apart from that, we also have a capability to make it run on multiple devices parallelly. So right set of devices, right set of tools, right set of CI/CD pipelines, everything coming as a package. That's what the infrastructure we are referring to, and that's what we have it here, right? Okay, now moving to the second challenge, which is talking about quality. See, as soon as you achieve the scalability, how do you assume or rather assure another important aspect, which is speed of detection of failures, right? The script of application related. This can be done via thorough and quick analysis of live intelligent results. Now, when I'm talking about the intelligent results, this is basically talking about the way how quickly you can actually see if there are certain failures. See, when you are running the test on multiple devices parallelly for 10 or 20 or 100 or 200 devices, and you are getting a traditional report, doesn't make any sense, because you'll have to practically go through each and every report to understand what went wrong, where are the failures and stuff like that. Instead of that, if you are getting a report which will give you a quick analysis, like if there are certain failures, if it gets highlighted, if you get the debugging information very quickly, and if you actually can address that very quickly. That's what we are talking about in terms of progressive reports, right? And this is what we have in store at pCloudy. Okay, so let's see. I mean, yeah, this is what I've spoken about, right? We have the you have to identify the defects and everything, which has to be done very quickly. So this is what we can do through the progressive reports. We have something called progressive reports here. I'll just explain quickly what exactly the progressive reports talk about. So these progressive reports, where you can see the live streaming of the data in the results while you're running your uh, uh, tests, right? And you can also drill down to further details at test case level or the steps level for the exact debug information about that particular specific step. So this is how you can actually see the reports, where you can this is the UI of the report. Those who are already using pCloudy, for them it's pretty much familiar. Of course, this progressive report is something which is new even for them, but the overall other stuff is pretty much same. So in the reports folder, we have progressive reports, and here you can see the list of results for the different builds. So here I am having the one which we are taking for an example is for the Samsung Galaxy, where we have a result for the test which we have run using build number one with some product filter, right? So you can see here the test case status. There are 15 pass, there is one completed, one error, one fail. All right, so when we say 15 pass, it means whatever test cases I have executed so far in this particular test cycle, out of which 15 test cases are passed. So it is quickly showing you at one glance that 15 test cases are passed. So as long as there is a pass, I don't really care. But if there is a fail, of course, I have to look into that quickly, right? So you can see there is one red, which is typically it talks about one is failed. There is one error. It could be error from the Appium side, or it could be error from the script side, or from the server side. Whatever is there, we are actually mentioning it here. And then there is something called one completed. Now, you must be wondering, what is this one completed? Basically, as we said, like this is the live data, the way your test execution is happening, and whatever verdict your test case is giving, we are actually showing it here. So pass, fail, and error is pretty simple, straightforward. But when you talk about completed, it means the test execution is over on the device side at pCloudy, but pCloudy is not aware, we are not getting any input from the user as such through the script saying the test case is either passed, it is failed, or there are some there are some errors there. See, errors is something which is handled by pCloudy, so we can easily make out, but typically pass or fail information has to be provided by the user. So the way you integrate maybe the Allure reports or any reporting framework with your existing Appium setup, same way you have to configure with pCloudy as well. You have to add certain small line of code, at least one line of code, when you are actually creating an assert and provide that information to API at pCloudy, which will understand by the pCloudy reports here saying, the test case is passed or fail. So you'll have to provide a text message saying whether the test case is passed or fail after taking the necessary uh, assert statements there. So moving on, you can actually go and see the another view here where you can see the test case results. You can see the tags in case you are having a lot of tags there, right? So you can actually see the tags view here. You can see the test case which is running. As I said, this is live data. So test case which is running, you can see it from here. You can see the test case name, build number, and so on. And also below that, you can see the test case which are completed, but we don't have the results for that, whether it is pass or fail. If the test case is pass, this is the test case which is pass. Below that, we will also show you the test cases which are having certain errors and test cases which are failed, right? So pretty much detailed live progressive reports you can see from here, which will help you to quickly take a look whether the test cases, what's a pass and failure rate for you, and it will help you to debug the things very quickly. Yeah, if I just move a little further, there is some more thing which talks about the individual level of test cases. So you can see here we have something called video game consoles and accessories, which I have actually highlighted. Now this is one of the test case from the electronics tag. So you would have noticed that there were a couple of tags in this particular test suite. So we have something called electronics and then wearable technology and stuff like that. So from the electronics tag, I have selected the test case which talks about video game consoles and accessories. So if I have to see how this particular test case actually was having the information for the entire detailed information about this, I can simply go inside. I can just expand this particular thing, and then you can see there are a couple of things here. We have a tabular format, we have a JSON format, we have screenshots, videos, and logs. So typically for this particular given test execution, right, we will actually provide you the logs, the complete logs for the given test case in this logs folder, the complete video for this particular session. See, so far we were providing you the video for the entire test cycle, but here what we are doing is we are giving you the video which is only for this particular test case. So you can very well, if there is a failure, you can share this with the development team or the stakeholders. And there are certain generic information in the form of table. So we are going to see a couple of things here. So you can see here what kind of framework you have chosen, what is the platform and stuff like that. You can start seeing it from here in the tabular format. If I just go down, this is how you can actually see it there. The same information, if you want in a JSON format, then you can just come here, click on the JSON and get the entire information in the JSON format. Let me go down and you can see what kind of protocols you have used, what kind of actions you have performed, all those things you can actually get it from here, right? And then if I go to screenshots tab, you can also see the screenshots which we have captured during the test execution. So all this information will be handy with every test cycle and with every test case. We can actually go and consume this information the way we want and expedite your test execution part. Okay. Now coming to the next, the third challenge which we were talking about is how do we ensure this speed, right? Now we have assured that quality and we have also achieved this scalability in the last couple of slides, right? We have seen how we can actually achieve the quality, how we can achieve the scalability there. But when we are talking about speed, how do we do that? How pCloud is helping in that particular uh, challenge is what we are going to see it now here, right? Okay. Uh, the script, simplifying the process of the scripts is what we are going to see here, which we are talking about Be Future Ready, right? So this is basically to help you how we can actually create the scripts, okay, by using the futuristic technologies like AI or something like that, which will help you to immediately create the scripts. Now, if you have to create the scripts, what you have to do is you have to connect the device to your local system, use Appium desktop or some other technologies to get the object repositories, and then use those things in your uh, code. And typically, if you have the applications where you are using the images, a lot of images, then it's again pretty much difficult, because the XPath may change if there are no proper you know uh, IDs or names are given, then the XPath will change depending on the uh, size of the devices or the OEMs or something like that, right? So this is a big challenge. Then if there is a small change, everything will have to be, the maintenance efforts are pretty huge, right? So is there a way, is there a bot, or is there something which is backed with the AI or something like that, which will help you to create the test automation scripts quickly, is what we are going to see it here. And fortunately, we do have something at pCloudy which will help you achieve that, right? So we are going to see that particular thing here. You can see now we have a utility which is backed with the artificial intelligence, which will understand what kind of the images you have, and on its own it will tell you that this is, maybe this is a contact. So you can say the AI think this is a contact, and once you say okay, it will actually take the particular object repository for that. Now you can see here it says document for this particular image, but it is not. So you can actually give a feedback here saying it's not a document, it's contact, for example, and then we will actually keep building that database as well. The whole idea here is, I mean, it was a little fast, so you may not be able to code it, but let me just explain quickly what exactly we are trying to do it. We have actually got a AI-based utility, which will help you to get the object repository for the entire page. Ideally, we want the entire application or the entire screen. You should be getting the object repository, but today we are concentrating more on the images as such, right? And in the upcoming releases, we will also have the support for the entire page. I mean, whatever text you have, whatever buttons you have, or something like that. So today, with this utility, you can actually get the object repository or the object names for uh, the images which you have on the application screen. So you just need to connect the device to this utility, which will be running on your local machine, and you also have to provide certain paths where you can actually store this particular the object repositories and the images. So it will go, once you start this particular utility will go and fetch the image from the device, and then it will start storing uh, uh, the object repository on the local machine, and then you can use that in your existing code. So let's say this is the code which I am writing it here, where I'm actually creating the driver. Okay, and at the same time I also have to create the uh, pCloudy AI driver, right? This is the artificial intelligence driver which we have. So this is something which we have to additionally add it here. After that, again, these are the common code which you might be already using it for to run your test automation on pCloudy. So what exactly we will be doing here, what exactly we will be adding it additional here, which is with the help of pCloudy AI is what we're going to see. So as I said, you have to initialize the driver for the Appium and also for the pCloudy AI. Then you have to initialize this. I mean, you have declared it here, you are initializing this here, and we are saying that, this is the hub URL. Uh, Now it is showing on the local setup. You can also run it on pCloudy. And then we are also initializing the driver for the um, pCloudy AI. And once this is done, you can actually start using this code, which we have actually generated using this particular utility. So you would have noticed that there were certain images on the application which talks about the card, the back button, the mic icon, something like that. So this particular thing, when I just call this dot click by pCloudy AI card, this will actually go and get the right uh, uh, the object name, right? Whatever internally we are calling it. So you don't have to really go and look for a specific the object repository. Typically, the way we do it, right? We will be giving you something like here now. You can see this next thing which talks about find element by ID. Then you are going and looking for something like this for the text search text box, right? So this is something which typically we do it. Now with the help of this AI, you don't have to really worry about this. You don't have to go and look for this because this exercise we have already done it. AI knows what exact uh, 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 so the object repository or the object path or the name we have there, and AI will provide that. So this is pretty much neat, clean, readable. We have here, right? So you'll have to go and use any of these things. This is the way you can actually use the AI to expedite your test creation process, because at the end of the day, test execution is the one part on parallel devices. Test creation and adding the new scripts as and when the new functions are created is the other thing which will boost your test automation and of course quality and speed. So I'm going to see this particular video. Can you see, I believe you can see it here. The one which we have seen the code here. I'm checking on the card. Then I'm coming here and we're pushing this back arrow. Then I am coming and clicking on the mic button. So all these things now, this is the script. This is a live script. Whatever we have seen the code for is actually happening on the real physical device. Yeah, so I have actually clicked on the Xbox One and then I'm coming here, I'm seeing add to cart. So whatsoever we have actually seen. Yeah, so this is what the script which we have seen. The same script I have actually executed on the real devices, and you have seen this how it automatically goes, collects the objects from your application screen, and then asks to provide the feedback that we have seen in the video, right? After that, we have seen this particular AI-based stuff where we are actually seeing this particular script running. So whatever code we have seen it here. That code execution is what we have seen in the video a little while ago. Okay, so right. So basically, if you already have the test cases written with you, and you are using the AI, what we have, and if your test application and the test is having a lot of images, the one which we have seen, then you can actually embed this AI bot in your existing code seamlessly, and then you can run these things the way we have seen it just now. So we are pretty much done from my end. So in case we have any questions on this, we can actually take up those questions. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for the participants to start throwing the questions at me. Okay, so I could see some questions are popping up on my screen, and I'll start answering those questions. Let's see. I mean, I'm just seeing people are typing in something there. Okay, fine. So let me just open the question. Okay, so the first question is from uh, Swisswa. How do you train AI in pCloudy? Okay, so Swisswa, to answer your question, uh, we have actually tested our AI on a lot of applications available in the market today. Of course, it is not practically possible to cover each and every application which is available in the market, but yeah, we have tested a lot of applications from different categories like e-commerce, like banking, like insurance, and so on. So that way, we have created a database for our AI. But as I mentioned, that it may so happen that some of the images may not be available, because if you really look at it, let's say the pencil kind of icon, right? Now that can be for editing, that can be for pencil itself. So that there are certain challenges which we are facing, because every application is unique, and some of the applications are using some of the standard icons, and some applications are using a customized one. So we at times we face challenge. So that's the reason we have said that if there is some change, if you feel that the bot is not finding the right object name, or right it's not identifying the right image there, then you can actually give that feedback to us, so we can also save that data with us saying this could be the edit button as well, if there is a uh, pencil thing, right? So this way we are actually training our bots on the fly. But yes, before we release this, we actually test it on multiple applications which are available in the market. I hope I have answered your question, Swiswa. Okay, so there is one more question from Kishore. Uh, how AI will identify whether it is cart or mic? Okay, so this is what I was trying to explain some time back to answer Sushma's question. The AI which we have already there is actually trained. The AI has tested a lot of applications available in the market. So we have skin. Of course, AI, when we are talking about AI, it has about artificial intelligence, right? So it understands there are certain things, there are certain algorithms which understand what kind of application it has on its own. That's first thing, right? Second thing is, if there is a change, maybe the AI intelligence is saying that particular thing is like, for example, for to mic it is referring something else, but we understand that it is a mic from that particular application's perspective. So we have given that feedback to the AI saying, this is a mic. So once we give any feedback, that particular object or that particular image will be treated as mic by the AI, as well as the other things, whatever they have, right? So that they will keep that particular thing also in the history. So in case it may so happen that you have seen in the example there that the contacts were shown as documents. So some of the applications, or one of the application, would have used that icon for the documents, and that's the precise reason what has actually considered that particular image as uh, document. So if there are multiple such kind of things where people are saying that this is documents, then we will have to, the bot will understand this is a document. But if a lot of people are giving a feedback saying this is contacts, then of course the bot will start recognizing that as a contact by default. So this is the way we actually, this is the way the AI actually identifies whether it's a card or mic. It's all about the training. We have done enough training of these particular bots, and that's how the bot is helping to identify the right images. I hope I have answered your question, Kishore. Okay. There's one more question from John. Does it mean the AI you have shown will generate the entire object model for the application? And if yes, how do I use it? I mean, do I need to install the AI in the device? Okay, it's a very long question John has asked. So let me break this question in two parts. The first part is, uh, does it mean your AI has the capability to get the object repository for the entire application? Uh, well, uh, that's the end goal we are looking at, John. I mean, we want the our AI to get the entire object repository for the entire application. So you don't have to really go here and there and get the object repository. But as of today, it is supported only for the images. So if you have a text or certain other uh, elements that may not be able to identify today, but yes, that's the end goal we are looking for. So let's say you have a lot of images, that those images will be identified by the AI, and we will create the object model for that. But if it's a text, for example, you're saying enter something or log in as a guest, that particular text is something which will not be recognized by our AI as of now. For that, you'll have to use something else to identify the way traditional things which you are doing it today, to see if we can actually get the object repository and then use it there. So that's the answer for your first question. I mean, the first part of your question. The second part of the question is, if yes, how do I use it in? I mean, do I need to install the AI in the devices? Okay. So this is something which I have explained while giving a demonstration webinar some time back. Let me just give you some more insights about that. So, well, I said that the object repositories, the object model which we have today is not for the entire uh, application. It is for the uh, um, image based things alone as of now. So that's something here. Now, if you want to use this, you don't have to install the AI in the device. You don't have to really install the AI in the mobile device. In the mobile device, you have to install the application which is under test. The AI stuff, whatever we have, that utility has to be installed on your desktop, right? So if you have a desktop or laptop where you are actually the device is connected with, the pCloudy device can also be connected to your device virtually, to your workstation virtually. So you can connect that, and then you'll have to provide certain configurations, like where the device is, what device you are using, what location you want to keep the object repository or the data. All that things you'll have to provide, and once you provide that, then uh, you'll have to run the AI from your local workstation, and this AI will actually fetch the images from the application which you have installed on the mobile device, and then it will start collecting that data, create that complete object repository of the uh, images, and store it on your local drive itself, from where you can actually pick it up and add in your existing test scripts. This is the way you can actually work with the AI on pCloud. I hope I have answered your question. I think it was a very good question, but then, yeah, of course, it was a big question. So I hope I've answered your question. Okay, so there is one more question from Jay Kishore. Will AI handle the different screen resolutions for mobile? Yes, it is. That's one of the key capability pCloudy has, right? So when we are writing an AI based tools, we do have a capability to handle the different screen resolutions for different mobiles. So you can actually use this with different screen sizes, with different OS versions, with different OEMs. Bot will be able to, the AI bot will be able to understand that, and will also provide you the right object repository. Ideally, if you really look at it, the object repository, if it is provided, the names are given right by the development team, then it will certainly not change with the OS version or the screen resolution or OEMs for that matter. This particular things changes. I know from where you are coming from. This particular things changes typically in terms of the XPath or relative XPath, absolute or relative XPath. If the right names or IDs are not given to the objects, right? Then we have a tendency, of course, we have to finish the automation. So we have a tendency to use the XPath to address that particular issue. And the moment we use XPath, it will change, when we change the screen resolution or something like that. So our AI will actually not get this XPath. It will actually identify, it will decode the image what it is seeing there, and then it will have its own database where those images are stored. Such kind of images are stored across the market which we get it, and then it will say, okay, this is what it is, right? And based on that, we will actually map. So you would have seen in the code snippet which I have shown there, it says click on cart, right? So when we say cart, there is something else is happening in the background. We have a mapping of the image by having certain technology which will actually tell, this is uh, the XPath or the object element or something. So we create that particular object model, right? It not necessarily we will be using the XPath or the name or the ID. It could be a combination of whole lot of things, right? So that's something is our IP, uh, which AI actually handles. So I hope I have answered your question, Jay Kishore. Okay, so there is one more question from Avinash. Yeah, there is a question from Avinash. Is uh, it's more about the automation. So he's asking if the parallel test execution, what we have seen in the video, which is on 50 devices. So is it possible to really run it on 100 devices, or it is just something which we have seen? So I mean, it is pretty much possible. We have executed, some of our clients are actually executing it on multiple devices in the scale of 100 plus devices together, right? So it is pretty much possible, and you can try it out on our public cloud if you are not having a private or on-premise instance. If you are already a customer of pCloud, you can try it on public cloud and see if it can be executed on 100 plus devices. We are confident most of our customers are also using it to run it on multiple devices parallel. And there is one more question from Gary. Uh, can we actually do, I mean, we have seen everything you have shown on Android. Do you also support the iOS devices? And can we get the progressive report as well in the iOS platform? So Gary, yes, the whole idea here is we wanted to showcase the capabilities which we have. Now we have the capability to run it on iOS and Android, both the platforms. We support both Android and iOS platform. The demonstration here we have shown in on the Android, but doesn't mean that we do not support iOS. We do have the support for iOS, so you can run the test automation cases on iOS devices on a iOS platform, and also the progressive report which we have seen some time back can also be monitored for both Android and iOS. We do have support for the iOS as well. Okay. Uh, I'm just waiting for a few more questions. Okay, so there are no more questions now. If there are no more questions, I think we are good to conclude the webinar today. Uh, yeah, in case the participants have further more questions, and if they're not able to ask the questions so far, and if they want to drop me an email with their questions, they can please drop me an email with their questions on the email ID which is mentioned on the screen, and I shall get back to them with the answers on, personally. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope this webinar is useful, and you'll definitely try it out on pCloudy. Uh, so thanks again for your participation and time. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.